brothers and sisters. I did a live stream earlier with a few people that were in Texas, were in my live stream, like Sherry and Cap, PY2. There were a few people in there from Texas. So I'm just talking, really addressing all of you as well as all of my subscribers at this hour. Harvey slammed into Texas at 130 miles an hour. So it slammed into Texas as a Category 4. There's been reports of buildings collapse. People are hurt. 155,000 people are without power. And probably the worst storm since Katrina at this time. So I pray to the Most High that he keeps his hedge of protection around our brothers and sisters that are being impacted by this hurricane. And I keep you all in my thoughts. And if any of you in Texas, I don't care who it is, can make it onto the internet and just give us an update on what's going on there and how the conditions are, and if there's anything we can do to help, because I know how slow help came for people that were victims of Katrina. Harvey has slammed into Texas as a monstrous Category 4 hurricane on Friday night with wind speeds of 130 miles an hour, causing buildings to collapse, dozens to be injured, and leaving more than 155,000 without power. The hurricane hit shortly after 10 p.m. local time as waves flooded onto roads, roofs were sent flying into the air, and residents in the storm's path were told to label themselves in case they died. Wow. It's a shame. Same as Katrina. Rockport, around 30 miles outside of Corpus Christi, has reports of extensive damage with a number of buildings collapsed. Homes have been destroyed and several people were taken to a makeshift hospital. Further tragedy struck when police were called to a scene of a shooting in Corpus Christi during the middle of the hurricane with a victim in serious condition, according to local reports. And I remember Phil from the Advise Show. He's another one that's from Texas. I don't know if he's impacted. I believe he's around Houston. Texas Governor Greg Abbott warned that Hurricane Harvey would be a major disaster before the storm barreled into the state with violent winds and massive rainfall, all on top of storm surges up to 13 feet. Trump signed a disaster proclamation from Camp David, tweeting, "At the request of the governor of Texas, I have signed the disaster proclamation which unleashes the full force of government help." Now, they asked him for a statement before the hurricane, like hours before. All Trump turned around and said was good luck. I tell you, this man is not presidential at all. Harvey is the strongest storm to hit the U.S. in 12 years and is expected to trigger catastrophic floods, as the National Weather Service warned that this was the start of many difficult days to come. And this probably was taken hours earlier with a down tree. I'm sure there was a lot more than a tree down. And you can see this tractor trailer tipped over. I like the Daily Mail because they update every so many hours and they stay on top of it. Let's see the wind blowing. A street light down. A traffic light. You can see the waves. And they have shelters, of course, all around that people can go to. even before the storm made landfall, reports of damage were trickling in from the coastal region. Some buildings in Rockport have collapsed, and guests were hunkering down in hotels said they could feel the tall buildings sway under the strength of the powerful winds. Rockport City manager Kevin Carruth said to KHOU, people are trapped inside at least one collapsed building. We can't get rescue team to them right now. The building was a senior housing complex, and the roof had collapsed on the elderly inhabitants, with a number being taken to another location for treatment later that night. Carruth added that he had heard reports of a tree falling onto a mobile home and roofs collapsing on houses. Other reports claim that a portion of a high school in Rockport has caved in. Full extent of the damage Hurricane Harvey has caused will not be known until morning. Yeah, it's really hard. Daylight will be when people can see the biggest damage, and you can see another street sign completely collapsed over, it looked like some type of highway. At least 10 people have been treated from Friday night's storm damage already. Yeah, wow, that's a pretty big street sign down. Okay, some more pictures. You can see the areas that are impacted. Look like Corpus Christi, Port O'Connor, Victoria, Freeport, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin are taking a direct impact right there. Wow. It is going to be bad when daylight comes and you can see the damage on these buildings. You can see some of it here in the dark. That's a shame. All right, I will keep everybody that's down in Texas that are impacted by this storm in my thoughts and prayers. And I will post a link to this article in the description box for anybody that wants to see it. Please leave your comments and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.